Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Denver Nuggets offseason, talk about some trade rumors, some draft prospects, and also look at their salary cap situation and free agency. So basically talking all things Nuggets for the next 5 minutes. Without further ado, let's get started. The Denver Nuggets started their season pretty well, and they were 26 and 17 throughout the first 43 games, and then obviously Jamal Murray went down. But surprisingly, and to not many people expected, the team finished 47 and 25, barely suffering a hiccup. But in the playoffs, that's where the loss of Murray was seen. They were able to get past the not very deep Blazers, but then got swept by a Phoenix team that was on a roll and obviously made the finals and lost in 6 games. Now, Jamal Murray continues to be a key point for this team. His torn ACL, holds a lot of weight over the team due to like his contract in the future, which we'll see in like 20 seconds. And then also the fact that he's the point guard and he's probably the second best player on the team. So it'll be important to see how he recovers. But just a quick break, guys. I make NBA content 2 to 3 times a week, and I've been doing these off-season previews daily, so I'd heavily appreciate it if you subscribed, and I appreciate all my subscribers that are returning, and I appreciate the support. But let's get back to the video. So as you guys can see, this is the salary cap table for the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, the first thing you'll see is Nikola Jokic's deal until 2023. He's on relatively good money for the production he gives them, but right below that you'll see Jamal Murray, who's on $38.6 million in 2025, and a deal that incrementally goes up by about $2.4 million. Now, the thing with him is the Nuggets will need him to come back healthy, otherwise that contract could end up being really bad. That's where it becomes more than just his ability on the floor. It's also the financial aspect. So obviously prayers up for him. Hopefully he can come back. We know that he's going to miss a substantial amount of this season as well, which will be important when it comes to draft time. But Aaron Gordon's on a deal for next year. Will Barton opted out, and same story for JaMychal Green. Paul Millsap and JaVale McGee have expired. I think that for the right amount of money, it'll be worth bringing back Paul Millsap, and JaVale ends up being 15 minutes off the bench a night, so it's not the end of the world. And then they have Facundo Campazzo on 3.8 million, and they also have Michael Porter for 5.2 million next year as well. He's another interesting player because they're gonna have to make a choice to extend him at some point, and he's a great player, but those scout reports that led for him to fall down to pick 14 in the draft, the back issues he's had, it's very important that he stays on the floor for a long period of time and can prove his worth. Now, whether he gets that big payday at the Nuggets, I don't know. I think that it would make sense, and I think the Nuggets would do that. And obviously, the Nuggets have been very good at drafting throughout the years. They still have talented guys like Bol at the end of their bench as well. But besides that, this team's relatively flexible, as in 2023 they'll only have 78 million committed, with Jokic and Murray signed long term. Now, from the Jeremy Grant sign and trade, or the trade, the free agency move last year, they do hold a 5.3 million trade exception, which is key. That could be used to bring up the backup point guard for Monte Morris, or even a guy that may end up starting for them. In the playoffs, it was their lack of depth at that spot was kind of exposed, with Monte having to play a lot of minutes. He did thrive, averaging 5.5 assists, but it looks likely that they need to deepen in that position, whether it's a backup or an okay level starter, just while Murray is gone, because you can't really expect that. You kind of shouldn't be a bit closed-minded there. You do need to make some changes and make sure that you do have the depth. Obviously, we hope Murray comes back, and it's not a replacement for Murray. It's just so you have enough depth. I think you guys get where I'm going with that. An interesting target would be Victor Oladipo. Now, in free agency, I don't believe the Nuggets will have a lot of money, but he looks to be a good shooting guard option. Now, again, that's another area where they could do with some depth, possibly. I think that he's a great defensive player, and he could give them 16 points a night, along with 3 and 3, assist rebounds. I think that he would be useful for them. And when Murray comes back, if Murray loses some of his, he wasn't that great of a defender to begin with. He could put effort in, but he wasn't the best defender. Oladipo will help, mask some of his deficiencies on that end of the floor. Now, whether it happens or not, it's kind of a concept that I've been thinking of, but it is something that should be worth checking out, as the mid-level exception should be open for them. And he is getting up there in age, and he's injured a lot, so maybe he takes this year to rehab his value in Denver, but that's one option they have. And now this is beginning to look like another pipe dream as well, but you have DeMar DeRozan who could fill in at the small forward spot. Obviously, Will Barton declined a relatively fair player option. You could find a way to bring in DeMar. He'll probably be worth 20 or so million in the open market. And I think that whether you facilitate sign and trades and you send ball and draft picks, but I think that there could be something there for them, but then that would probably create issues with spacing too, admittedly. But obviously they have a bit of flexibility with some trades they could make, but that remains to be seen. Now I'm just quickly touch on some draft prospects, and that'll be it. So around where they're picking, there'll be guys like Jaden Springer and Jared Butler. Sorry, Jared Butler averaged 17 points and 5 assists on 42% from three, and Jaden Springer averaged 13 points and 3 assists on 44% from three. Keep in mind the three-point line's closer, but those are some options if they want to use the mid-level exception or the trade exception from the Jeremy Grant situation on something else. So they could come in and be backups possibly. But that's it for the video. Any Nuggets fans, please comment, also like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.